CRKT and some dude named Ken Onion that I've never heard of before realized that everyone does dirty things to their knives when no one else is around, which is why they've introduced the new CRKT Homefront that the super chill people over at goinggear.com sent me for review. You're like, oh cool, is this the knife that Sensible Prepper reviewed a week ago with over 25,000 views now? Yeah, that's the one. The Homefront is a World War One, World War Two, or possibly, with the way things are going, World War Three inspired folder, which introduces the world to field strip technology, which allows you to remove all your clothes in the field using only this knife. So stay tuned for that later in the video. The Homefront is a big badass folder, so let's check out the overall length. The blade length. The handle size. And then the girth, the spine thickness, and the weight. In case the dimensions didn't clue you in, the design details give away that this knife is literally like a tank. From the olive drab anodization, to the Army Star pivot, to the tank jimping, and the texture on the handles. It has a classic Army look. The Homefront features a big drop point 3.5 inch-ish blade with a hollow grind made from AUS 8 steel rated with an HRC of 57 to 58. The blade has a brush finish that lets you know it has patents pending also. And it also has your name on it, provided your name is Ken Onion or your parents are weird and named you First Production. The blade is deployed by a flipper stud with pretty smooth action. The blade isn't small, so you have to hit the stud with a bit of force and a slight flick of the wrist, but it's still nice and smooth. The blade locks into place with the liner lock that has no rock and feels nice and firm. The last part of that paragraph made me feel pretty dirty. The handle is nice and big and fits in my hand well. Not improving, are we? I get a nice hard grip on it, and again, there's what CRKT dubs tank jimping on it, as to not confuse it with recessed jimping or no jimping. The handle is lightly textured on the outside, which reminds you of more classic Army stuff like your G.I. Joe collection. And then there's the big deal about this knife, the field strip technology, a technology that will discourage you from lending the knife to a friend to use. Because it's usually followed by, oh shit man, I think I broke your switchblade. Okay, the field strip technology is cool, but you have to do it properly and in the right order to get it back together. I will demonstrate here how to do it, but CRKT has a video of it on their website that's pretty good. There are a few slight variations on how and the order you do it in, but I'll show you the way that's easiest for me. First, the knife has to be closed. Then flip the switch near the pivot upward. You'll hear a release, you'll feel it, and then you move to the rear of the handle and turn this dial clockwise until it goes click. And you're like, Jesus. Okay, the knife will slightly spring apart, and now it's in 3 pieces, and you can clean all your body hair and cardboard from the inside of the knife. Okay, let's put it back together. Now this part's a little bit tricky, so set the blade in just like this and apply pressure to the pivot area because the lock needs to be pressed down to, which is on the other side of the blade, or it won't seat right. So hold it like this firmly with your finger. Remember the lock is kind of pushing back against you. Grab the other half and look at that hole near the pivot. That pin needs to go in that hole, which as an adult you should be familiar with by now. Now line that up and transfer pressure from your hand holding the tang to the handle like this. So the handle now replaces your finger as the one that's holding the pressure on the pivot. And then press them firmly together and squeeze, and you're going to hear like a little click click, knowing that the parts are right. Okay, so on the back now turn your dial counterclockwise to get to the back of the handle together again. And finally apply pressure on the opposite side of the big Army Star side of the pivot, and you'll feel a slight click. Now you slide the lock back into place, and then you can open it, click it into place, flip it open, and it's just as smooth as before. Cool. Once you get that down, try it a few times, you'll be good. Be careful though so you don't scratch the blade or anodizing when you're doing it. I didn't, but I felt a little, weird about it sometimes. The knife has a deep carry black stainless steel clip that only is one position, which is tip up, blade backward in my right pocket. Okay, cool, let's shave or cut some wood with it. While I sum it up, the Homefront is a big EDC folder with a cool, quick and easy disassembly option. So you only need one tool to break it down and clean it, which is you. So let's call this an everyday collector knife, one that will stand up to medium duty use, but also has a unique look and that feature. I wouldn't use this as a chopper though, or for the B word. Okay, maybe just a little bit of like well supervised chopping would be okay, right? You think that's okay? No, maybe not. Maybe no chopping. Sorry, I apologize for that. Because you could inadvertently release a lock if you slam the handle down on a piece of birch and a piece of wood hits it just right. Now this won't happen during normal everyday use because you're going to be pushing downward and nothing's going to be coming up to hit it. And it would have to hit it at a weird angle too. So remember, this is a pocket knife and not a fixed blade survival knife. But after all the hacking and shaving, I was still able to slice through cardboard with ease. So fear not. The edge held up great and it was still able to make my arm hair, or at least my arm, look prepubescent. I did have to tighten up the other side of the pivot with the included pivot tool to recenter the blade after beating on it, but it was just a slight micro turn, and it's something you're probably going to have to do with a little bit of use anyway, right? Anyway, I love the look, and I'd like to thank GoingGear.com for providing this blade for review. If you like this review and like this knife, buy it at GoingGear.com, subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, guys.